EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martin here with your outlook for August 27th, 2021. Friday's video forecast is sponsored by George's Quick Stop Cafe in Marshalls Creek, Pennsylvania. They are on Milford Road, which is also Route 209 in the Stroudsburg area of Monroe County. Your one-stop shop for food, beer, wine, and fuel. Today we have an increased chance for thunderstorms. There's going to be a frontal boundary that's going to be dropping down, kind of like a backdoor front. Being pushed down by high pressure that is off the picture here. It's actually up over southeastern Ontario, the southeastern Quebec province, just north of Lake Ontario. So that is going to be pushing further southeast toward the Gulf of Maine, and that's going to create a backdoor cold front effect here. And ahead of that, it's a very weak boundary, very weak forcing with this. So there's, much like yesterday, if you were paying attention to the radar or you had the fortune or misfortune, however you want to look at it, of having a thunderstorm yesterday, it's going to be very much like that. Okay, so it's going to be very arbitrarily placed. It's not something where you can say one area has a better chance than another. It doesn't really work that way today. And these can kind of just pop up wherever, and it's diurnally driven and very slow moving, drenching thunderstorms with an abundance of lightning with each cell. So there is the possibility you could get some localized downbursts with it that could lead to some wind damage, but I think it's going to be very isolated for that to occur. It's mostly a heavy rain threat, and because of that reason, at least the National Weather Service of Mount Holly, their office for their entire region, put up the flood watch for today, or flash flood watch, I should say. It's a flash flood watch. And the reason they did that is, you got to remember, these areas, especially within their region specifically, were hit very hard with the remnants of Henri a few days ago, and before that, there was another system that came through, which was Fred and the remnants of that. So we've had a lot of rain this month, a lot, and this area has been hit especially hard recently. So it's not going to take as much, especially when you have slow-moving thunderstorms that are just drenching storms because you have so much precipitable water content in the atmosphere, and it's just going to dump. Okay. So that'll lead to some flash flood concerns, and especially with the pretty saturated ground already. I know we dried out the last couple of days, but it takes a while to dry that out. We really haven't recovered in these areas, and there's still some active flood warnings up in northern New Jersey from several days ago, where it's still an issue. So we had some other flood warnings that just expired recently, today, in fact. But there's been some flooding concerns that then you look at the local rivers in these areas, and they're just still way up here. So, I mean, it's not going to take much today. That's the idea. Slow-moving storms. Here's the NAM high-res future simulated radar, and I'm starting this off at 2 p.m. I think that's your kind of like that. Maybe anytime after 1 o'clock you start seeing these pop up. And again, they're going to be arbitrarily placed. Now, it is going to be maybe closest to that frontal boundary, which is going to be situated up here, moving off to the southwest very slowly. So initially it might be across northeast PA, northern New Jersey, north central Pennsylvania, and you see the scatter storms here. But you see some stuff popping further south too. But the concentration might be up here early on, and then later, and when we get into the evening hours, it might transition further south. And you see that here, and you just have showers remaining up here. So it's as the front's moving southwest, it's doing so very, very slowly. And, again, you're going to have these storms pop up in different parts of the area just about any time. But, I mean, you're going to have this threat go through at least the evening and maybe in a part of the overnight, especially, for eastern areas here. Now, Saturday is interesting because Saturday we have a 60% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. Okay, and just about every forecast you look at will show that. Looking at the European model here, here's today. We had that scattered shower and thunderstorm activity across pretty much anywhere within our region, right? Then you get in the overnight, and you have this weak area of low pressure that's going to move along that boundary. Again, the boundary is continuing off to the southwest. A weak area of low pressure, very weak in fact, might be enough to create some lift and keep these storms going into the overnight in those areas I mentioned. And then once we get to Saturday morning, it's kind of sitting just off the southeastern, or just off the coast here, off of our southeastern portions of our region, near the coast. So there could be some, it doesn't look like it's going to be overly active on Saturday, and the trend has been away from that, actually. So it might be a little damp in the morning or whatever, and then after that, you just have some more isolated stuff than anything else. This is a global model. This is not a mesoscale model. Mesoscale model would be something like the NAM, the HRR, or the, there's several of them. WRF. I mean, there's a lot of mesoscale models we can use. The convective allowing models, what they're called. This shows a few showers hanging around here on Saturday morning. And then once you get throughout the day, there's really not too much more beyond that. I mean, you got a few. I mean, you're going to be cloudy or mostly cloudy for the day. But you can have a pop-up. It's just showing a pop-up shower here. Maybe some, just some light rain, and that's it. Light rain showers, not a washout at all. Okay, so this is not a 60% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms if you're looking at the NAM, which is not too thrilled. I did look at the long-range HRR, and it's doing the same thing, where it's not really too thrilled with activity here on Saturday either. So Saturday might not be that bad as far as not a washout. I mean, you're going to have some showers kind of around here and there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be just a complete drencher of a day here on Saturday. And then there's going to be a warm front, the same front that's coming through, or is going to attempt to come through here on Saturday. Saturday night, Sunday is going to move northward as a warm front. It could be an isolated thunderstorm with that as it does so, but here again, here's Sunday, and you're just an isolated threat for a storm here on Sunday. So not a lot of coverage in terms of activity. Now, if you look off to the south, or the bottom left of the screen here, you see this monster heading toward Louisiana. We talked about this in yesterday's video. Yesterday it was Invest 99L. It is now Tropical Storm Ida, which is just west of Jamaica at this point in the evening. It's expected to cross over Cuba, the western tip of Cuba, and then head into the Gulf of Mexico, where it has some very favorable environments for strengthening. National Hurricane Center forecast actually has us getting close to a Category 3 hurricane. Not quite. It's 110 miles per hour is our peak forecast. I wouldn't pay attention to peak intensity forecast just yet, because it could end up a little bit stronger than that as it goes over a warm eddy that's sitting down here in the central Gulf of Mexico. Very, very warm waters. So this could undergo some rapid intensification as it goes toward the Louisiana coastline. And the official track for this does take that over. Here's that track. We already have hurricane watches up for Louisiana, southern Mississippi, tropical storm watch up for the Mobile Bay area of Alabama. Okay, so this is kind of the track they're honing in on, heading right toward Louisiana, and this could be a major hurricane possibly. They don't have it forecast yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're at that level by the time we're hitting Sunday night and this thing's coming on shore. So we are going to be watching this for our vested interests, which are going to be locally, and are we going to get any remnant rainfall from that? Now, the models yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, I had the center down here going over the Yucatan and heading toward Texas, Louisiana, and then kind of dying out here in the Midwest, and then remnants remain south of here. Because the low center formed in a different portion of this cluster. If you look at the visible satellite, there's a couple different clusters here. The dominant cluster actually became the northernmost portion of that, which changed the track entirely, pushed everything further east in that track, and that has effects downstream and timing being a little faster is going to allow it to interact with a frontal boundary that's going to be in the vicinity here on Tuesday. And some of this moisture is going to ride that boundary, it looks like. So that has been a big change today. Before we get to that, though, we have Monday, we have a cold front that's going to be coming toward the region, and there could be scattered showers and thunderstorms along that frontal boundary. This is a traditional front, okay? So scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the day on Monday after a partly cloudy start. We'll warm up a little bit. We're going to be cooler over the weekend with those clouds hanging around kind of 80, 82-ish, kind of lower 80s both days. Monday, we warm up back to the middle 80s or mid-upper 80s, okay? Then we have the scattered thunderstorm threat ahead of this cold front. This cold front is not going to go very far. It might just barely make it through our area, but here's the system now on shore on Monday night, and we're going to watch these remnants, and is it going to interact with that frontal boundary, give us some rain? Just about every piece of guidance is showing that now that is coming into our area, that we have some remnant rainfall to different extents. European model is not that much, okay? Not really. Not as bad as it could be. GFS is a little bit more thrilled with heavier precipitation over our region. So this is something we're going to keep an eye on. We have a vested interest in this, even though it's not going to be taking a direct path at us as far as the intensity of a hurricane or a tropical storm. By the time it gets up to our area, it's most likely going to be a depression or post-tropical depression. But, we had Fred a couple weeks ago do the same thing, and we saw what that did, right? Okay, we had a lot of rain in parts of our area. And this track is not solid here. I'm going back to the National Weather Service here. This track is not solid anywhere. whether it remains off to the south, comes right over top of us, we don't know that yet. This is something we need to follow throughout the week and see where we're at here in a couple days. But we have several days to do that. We have some showers and thunderstorms scattered today that we'll be dealing with, and then some maybe isolated, widely scattered stuff over the weekend, but not washouts, it looks like, on either day. Monday, again, late in the day, you have those scattered thunderstorms. Maybe a dry day in between on Tuesday before we're dealing with this mess here from in the Tuesday night through Thursday morning time frame. Somewhere in there. We'll narrow down time and be a little bit closer with that as well, if in fact it does hit us with some remnant rainfall. I'm EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for August 27th, 2021. Have a great Friday.